Good morning, my name is Nicole. Welcome to the Pine Cottage. This is Advent Sunday number 3. Today I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I'm working on and some of the things that we got up to this week, preparing for Christmas. And it's going to be a little bit shorter, I think, because we have some things going on today and I don't have a whole lot of time. Everyone is still sleeping right now except for me. I woke up at 5 and it's now 8 o'clock. I thought I'd take this opportunity to record while everyone is still asleep, but I'm downstairs so that I didn't wake them up because I'd like to have a little bit more time to myself. We are going to the theater to see A Christmas Carol. My daughter's singing group from school will be singing during intermission of the show. Our family and my parents are going to see the musical, and it's one of our favorites, so we try to get there as often as we can downtown to go see it. The first thing that I want to show you is a half-finished object. This is the sock that I am knitting for my son for Christmas, and I did finish one. And this, sorry about the lighting, the sun isn't quite up all the way in the sky, and we're doing our best here. So the main yarn in this sock is Patton's Croy. This is the colorway Gentry Gray. This is a gray marl. And these stripes are leftovers that I had in my stash of a speckled yarn. And it just has a Christmassy vibe to it, but also his favorite color is green. So one of his favorite colors. So that's that, and then I did, if you are curious, I used US 2 double-pointed needles, and I did just 3 rounds, a cast on, and then 2 rounds of this Gentry Gray, and then I did 20 rounds of 2x2 rib. I did 70 rounds for the leg. I did a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and then I did 70 rounds for the foot, and then I decreased for the toe. I just this morning cast on for the second sock. I might try to take it with me to the theater today, but I don't know how that will go because I have to switch in that other color, and I don't know if that will be distracting for other people. I don't know if I can do it in the dark, so I don't know. We'll see about that. This week has kind of been crazy because we have not had a dining room light we've been in this house 11 years. This room hasn't always been the dining room. It used to be the living room, so we just had lamps. But the dining room, the way the house was built, the room that was supposed to be the dining room was very small, and we couldn't fit everybody in there for holidays comfortably. So we changed this room into the dining room. And what was the dining room is now the library. So even though we live in a fairly small house, books are important to me, so that's why we have a library, and it doubles as the schoolroom for Sam. So this week, Tony hung a dining room light for me with my dad's help, and it's beautiful, and I'm so glad that it's up, but now we had to rewire some things. Them had to rewire, and there is now some holes in the ceiling that, home projects kind of snowball into other home projects. So the next stage is going to be to either shiplap or beadboard the ceiling and then add some crown molding to repair the walls. But I also wanted that anyway, just to add some charm to the house. I feel like a lot of these homes in our subdivision, were built very bare bones, and I just want to add some character to it. The other thing that I did was paint our half bath that's off the kitchen. When my son was 3, he was in gymnastics, and he decided to hang from the towel bar. So there was a hole in the wall that needed repaired, and he's now 10, and it still was not repaired. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Too many other things going on and money spent elsewhere. So I decided that this was the year that I was going to repair the wall and paint. So I did that. And Tony is a plumber as well as being a musician, so he ordered a new sink and faucet and countertop, and he's going to install that this week. Yes, the week before Christmas. And we are finally going to have a bathroom that's presentable. However, with all of that going on, in my work schedule this week, I just didn't get a whole lot of knitting done, and a lot of things finished that I needed to get finished in preparing for Christmas. So this week is going to be really busy, and I'm stressing a little bit about it, but it will get done, and we're just going to roll with it. This is Nicole after I put everything away to tell you that I forgot to show you my Freckled Whimsy self-striping Advent socks. So I'm going to try to prop this somewhere so that I can show you. Give me 1 second. Can I put you on here? Okay, so I think last time I showed you, I just had up to the blue. So I now did up to this green. So on this sock, I did finish that green. Let me show you. But then I decided to start the heel. Didn't get quite that far on this one. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. I'm a little behind, but I have some other things to finish before I can finish this one, this project. So I might be saving this till Christmas Eve. This is a little stitch marker by Laura from Back Porch Fiber Co. And I just love her little stitch markers. She is the second person who I buy stitch markers from. It was just one person for a long time, and then I saw hers and I decided that I would add her to my list. So the first person that I was buying from was Elijah from Horse Feather Fiber Arts, and now Laura is added to my list, Back Porch Fiber. So I'll link them both below, but this is from Laura. And then I also, this came in a set of 3. These are the other 2 colors. It's like a duck egg blue and a brown. And then she was so sweet to send me an extra little stitch marker. This is like a beginning of round marker, I think I'll use it as. It's a very pale pink stone. So very pretty, very delicate, very simple, just what I like. So yeah, I'm going to work on these after I'm done with my gift knitting. So these are just going to be put away for a while, but I didn't want to forget to show you. I did want to talk to you today about a Christmas gift idea. My kids are a little bit older now, so this isn't something that I'm going to give to them, but it's still something that I ordered and I plan to knit because I really like classic toys. When my kids were little, no, let me grab it. When my kids were little, someone gifted them this doll, and I also like gifts that coincide with books, with children's books. Someone had gifted them this doll. This is Little Red Riding Hood, and she is also the grandmother and the big bad wolf. So when you're telling the story, you can use these little guys as your props as you're telling the story to kids. And I just feel like that's so interactive and fun for kids to to hear a story in that way. So this is one toy, I donate a lot of their toys, or have donated a lot of their toys as they've grown, but this is one that I hold on to because I feel like it will be great to have here in my home when grandchildren come to visit, and any other children that might come to visit. I always thought it would be fun to actually have a children's bookstore and to do story time, and I've spent a lot of my life taking care of children. I was a nanny for many years, and now, of course, I'm a lactation consultant, but I love working with small children and just children in general, so I always thought that would be fun. So just the idea of having like classic toys like this in my home, to be able to read or tell stories to children who come to visit, appeals to me. So having said all of that, I saw this idea from Stacy. Stacy on Instagram. She goes by Snippet and Stash, and she got the idea from Tin Can Knits. Posted this, I guess, a couple Christmases ago. So I kind of took a deep dive down to their post and then their website and found the original idea of this gift. It goes along with this book by Jan Brett, The Mitten. And this is one of our favorite books. I pack away Christmas/winter books until I pull out the Christmas decorations every year. And then I've always had these available for the kids to read through if they want. Now that they're older, sometimes, well, Nia definitely is too old, but she'll still listen if I read to them. But Sammy sometimes still likes to be read a picture book. But this one is particularly enjoying for us because the grandmother is referred to as Baba. Some cultures say Baba. I'm Serbian, so my mom is Baba, and I think this is a Ukrainian story, and so the grandmother is referred to as Baba, and I love that because that's what my children call my mother, and hopefully someday my grandchildren will refer to me as Baba. So this story always had a special place in my heart, and I just think it's adorable. The premise is that Baba knits a pair of mittens for Nikki, her grandson, and she says, don't lose them, and he goes to play in the forest, and he loses one of the mittens. It blows away. And as it's laying on the forest floor, all these animals come one by one to find warmth inside the mitten, and they all crawl inside the mitten. So the idea of this gift is to knit a mitten large enough to fit all these little wooden animals in. So I purchased the animals. I wanted to make sure, I really loved this brand, the Holztiger. I think that's how you say it. This Holztiger brand. They're just really well-made toys. They're made of wood. And I was afraid that if I didn't order them by the time I have grandchildren, my kids are 13 and 10. So by the time that I have grandchildren, I was afraid that either they wouldn't make them anymore or I wouldn't be able to find them. So I ordered them. And this is the bear. This is the rabbit, and the rabbit is running. This is the little hedgehog. So cute. This is the fox. This is the little mouse. I love his little tail. This is the owl. We have a mole and the badger. And as you tell the story, you tuck each one of these little animals into the mitten until it's all stuffed full and read the story to the child or children. And I just love gifts like that. And so my plan after Christmas is to knit a mitten to go along with this book and tuck it away with this other toy and any other classic toys like that where I can interact with children and tell them a story. I think storytelling is so important. As a writer, I love reading, and I love introducing the love of reading to children. And I just think that's a great way to do it. My kids always loved to be read to. We always would go to story time so that they could be read to by other adults, not just me. And I just think that that's just a great way to build their imagination, to build their vocabulary, and to instill a love of stories in them. So I thought that was a fantastic gift and a way to tie in knitting and to have like an heirloom gift. So if you are a grandparent or a parent, or if you know of someone or close to someone who you would want to invest something like this in their child, as I said, the wooden animals are pretty pricey. Each one is pretty pricey, so the total gift could be a little bit more expensive. But if it's, you know, something for you or your grandchild or something like that, I feel like it's a good investment. So I just wanted to share that gift idea with you because I love it. Okay, that's all. So I had some questions. Some of them are from a little bit earlier, and I just held on to them so that we could answer them all at once. So let me find them here. Okay, so the first one is from Jacqueline Liebfried. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I'll put it up on the screen. She says, I recently found your channel and plan on going back through all your episodes. Thank you. I hail from Northeast Ohio and I'm new to knitting. Well, hi neighbor. Can you share what product you use for washing, blocking your pieces? Absolutely. So I mentioned before, especially in the, I think it's the What's in my knitting bag video, that I use Tuft Woolen's products exclusively, pretty much because she's an Ohio-based company and I like to support local in my state. But also I love her products. I use her Knitter's Hand Balm. I also use her wool wash. It's a bar of wool wash, and I just rub it in my hands under warm water. And it creates soapy bubbles in the water for blocking my knits. And I just do a once over rinse, and that's it. It's easy peasy. I've also used her lip balm, which is very nice, and I love her products. I love all her different scents. So that's what I use to block my knits. And hopefully this week I will finish my Felix Pullover, the second sleeve, and I will do blocking, do a little video on how I block it, and I can show you how I use the wool wash bar. The next question is from Cynthia Braley. She said, I thought of a question for you or anyone. Have you ever bought a sock set and didn't use the mini skein for your next sock pair because you just didn't like them, but you love the main skein? I've just been curious about that. I also can't wait to see your cookies. I love baking. Well, hopefully you'll send me a picture of your cookies too. Yes, so I think it was the last Farmer's Daughter fiber sock set that I showed you guys. I wasn't a big fan of the mini skein, and I probably will not use it. You know, once you buy yarn, it's your yarn to do whatever you want with it. So if you want to use it, you can use it. If you want to give it away, you can give it away. You know, you can use it or not. Sometimes it's personal preference. Some people really think that two colors go really well together, and another person may not. So, you know, you do with your yarn what you would like. I often change things up a little bit to suit my preferences, so I don't always use the mini skein. Judith Carter says, love the socks for your mom, so pretty. Thank you. She will love them. You mentioned 60 to 70 rounds for the leg. Does 60, 70 rounds include the 20 rounds of ribbing? No. So I generally do 20 to 25 rounds of ribbing and then 60 to 70 rounds for the leg. I like a little bit of a longer leg, generally like 70 to 75, but a lot of times for gift knitting, just for time's sake, I'll do 60 rounds, and that is in addition to the 20 rounds for the cuff. Debbie Todd says, I'm wanting to knit the Felix and noticed you often use Knit Picks yarn. Curious if it ends up being double or more the price on the website, given we live in Canada. Love the Knit Picks wool of the Andes tweed. So I'm not sure how the rates go for Canada. I did look this morning before I started recording this on the Knit Pick, or on my receipt from Knit Picks. And when I ordered yarn for the throw over, the colorwork sweater that I plan to do, I ordered 10 skeins of the worsted weight yarn. And those skeins are 50-gram skeins. They were $3.84 each, US. So, you know, roughly $7 a skein. And then I also ordered the Chroma Twist, which was a replacement for the yarn called for in the pattern. So my total for that sweater, there's no shipping involved, just sales tax. So my total was $70.59 for the yarn for that sweater. I feel like that is a good price compared to what it could have been if I used the yarn that was called for in the pattern. It's not the least expensive option, but it fit my budget, and I felt like it was a good compromise. It depends what fabric and what yarn you like to use. I mean, if you want to use acrylic yarn, it definitely can be less expensive. It just depends how you feel about acrylic next to your skin, or wearability, or washing, or any of that. It depends if you really want to use a more rustic wool, or hand-dyed, or add some cashmere in there, or mohair, or other things. The price of your project can fluctuate tremendously. So I'm not sure in regards to the price change being from Canada. That's something that you would just have to put the yarn in your cart and see what the total ends up being. That I don't know. I do tend to go to Knit Picks a lot to see if I can find alternative yarns for projects, because it is more budget friendly for me, and I do like the quality of their yarns. So far, I haven't had any issues so far. I know I've had some warnings from people, especially the tweed that I'm using for my mom's sweater for the Felix Pullover, that yarn can felt fairly easily. I'm just taking a risk, and we'll see how it goes. She does hand wash her knits that I make for her, so I'm hoping that it will last a good amount of time. But so far, I haven't had any issues with Knit Picks quality, and I like the price point. This is called Yuletide Carols. we can just talk cookie parade. A couple of you have sent me photos of your baking, your holiday baking, so thank you so much for sending those. I'm going to pop them up on the screen to show you guys some of the things that our little community has been working on this past week. And if you have any baking coming up, which I know all my baking is coming up this week before Christmas, please feel free to snap a photo and send it to me. I'd love to see it, and then you would be automatically entered in to win a prize. I have not decided what the prize is going to be yet. I have a couple of ideas, but I will announce that in next week's video. So I will announce the winner and what the prize is at that time. So thank you again for sending me your photos. Your treats look delicious, and I am excited to get started making mine too. I'm going to cut it off here and get ready to go. I hope you guys all had a great week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.